video lecture on the second unit of electrostatics named electric potential and capacitance. Dear student, the topic which I am going to touch today is very important. Name of the topic is capacitor or condenser. Before discussing this topic, we should know some basics related with the topic, that is, what is capacitance. Dear students, you know there are so many methods to charge the body. Now, if we are going to adopt any method to charge the body, one question can develop in the mind: up to what limit a body can be charged by any method? Charging a body means transfer of electron. If we are giving electron to the body, body will acquire negative charge. If we are taking electron from the body, body will acquire positive charge. So by transferring the electron, we can charge the body. Question can develop: up to what limit a body can be charged? When we discuss potential topic, we develop a formula with the help of which we can find the potential at any point due to isolated point charge body, and that formula was V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. R is the distance of the point from the source charge body and Q is the charge on the source charge body. If we fix source charge body at any point and we keeps on changing the distance of the point from the charge body, potential keeps on changing. Similarly, if we fix the distance and if we keep on changing charge on the body, potential also changes. So we can say that charge and potential are directly proportional to each other, keeping the distance constant. More charge body will have more potential body will develop. Less charge body will have less potential body will develop. So charge and potential are directly proportional to each other. The ratio of charge and potential will be constant because both are directly proportional to each other. This constant is represented by capital C. This C is called capacitance or capacity of conductor. Generally, capacitance or capacity of conductor defines ability of the body, how much it can be charged. Ability of the body, how much it can be charged or how much charge it can acquire. Numerically, capacity or capacitance is defined as the ratio of charge associated with the body and corresponding potential linked with it. If we know how much charge body is having, if we know how much potential body is having, by dividing them we get the capacitance or capacity of the conductor. So this is the numerical definition to define capacitance. In general, what is the meaning of capacitance? Ability of the body, how much it can store charge, how much it can hold charge. Now from this same formula we can develop units of capacitance. In Amperes system, if we write the unit of capacitance, unit of charge means coulomb divided by unit of potential means volt. This coulomb per volt is also called farad. 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb divided by 1 volt. It is the Amperes unit or SI unit of the charge capacitance. Definition of 1 farad. We use this particular relation to define 1 farad. When 1 coulomb of charge is given to a conductor to raise the potential by 1 volt, capacity of conductor is said to be 1 farad. when 1 coulomb of charge is supplied to the conductor to raise its potential by 1 volt, its capacity is said to be 1 farad. Other units are microfarad, picofarad, nanofarad. 1 microfarad is 10 to the power minus 6 farad. 1 picofarad is 10 to the power minus 12 farad. 1 nanofarad is 10 to the power minus 9 farad. This picofarad can also be written as microfarad. Either you write picofarad or you say microfarad. These are the other units in which we measure the capacitance. If we take CGS unit into consideration, unit of charge will be stat coulomb, unit of potential will be F volt, so unit of farad with capacitance will be stat farad. This is the CGS unit of capacitance, stat farad. 1 farad is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 11 stat farad. It is the relation between farad and stat farad. By writing the dimension of capacity by charge and potential, we can guess the dimension of the capacitance also. So dear students, it is must to know what is capacitance or the capacity of the conductor before going to the main topic, that is capacitor. So I think now what is capacitance or what is the capacity of conductor is clear to you. Ability of the conductor to store the charge is called its capacitance or its capacity. Now, question develops, up to what limit a body can be charged. Experiments were performed to know it. We have taken a conductor, we have placed the conductor on the insulating base, and by any method we charge the conductor. We started charging the conductor. We connected this conductor with an instrument known as gold leaf instrument. I think you heard about this instrument in class junior class. It is a cork glass container having gold leaf. This is the conducting plate. This instrument we use to detect whether a body is having charge or not. So we have connected this conductor with a gold leaf instrument. As we have charged the body by any method, we have observed that leaves get separated because the charge which body this having, the same charge these leaves are having. So between them repulsive force act. Since gold is very light metal, so a small amount of repulsive force also separates them. More charge we have given, more separation we have observed. More charge we have given, more separation we have observed. But suddenly we have observed that after giving a certain amount of charge to this conductor, when extra charge we start supplying to it, leaves comes very close to each other. These leaves come to their original position. It means up to this limit body is holding charge. But when we are supplying charge beyond this limit, body becomes chargeless. That is why leaves comes closer to each other. Now if body becomes chargeless, again question develops, where this charge is going? Because it is insulated base. Charge cannot move through insulator on the ground if it is earth. Surrounding the conductor we have air, and air is also insulator. Air also cannot move the charge from body to other place. Then why immediately body get discharged, and if body get discharged, where the charge of the body moves? Then scientists starts discussing about the behavior of the surrounding medium. Generally we say air is insulator, air is bad conductor. But when we have charged the body, this charged body develops electric field intensity around itself, More charge we give to the body, more intensity develops around the charged body. When intensity of the surrounding conductor becomes maximum, or when intensity of the surrounding conductor acquires a certain value, beyond which when charge is given, we observe that this air starts behaving as a conductor. So charge associated with the body moves through air. That is why after some time body becomes uncharged. The intensity above which insulator starts behaving as a conductor is known as dielectric strength. Make it clear, it is not dielectric constant, it is dielectric strength. So, up to what limit a body can be charged? Till intensity developed by the body is not crossing the dielectric strength value of air. When such amount of charge is given to the body that intensity developed by body crosses dielectric strength of the air, immediately air starts behaving as a conductor and the whole charge associated with the body moves in different direction and therefore body becomes chargeless. It means every insulator can behave as a conductor above a certain intensity known as dielectric strength. This value is very high. We will discuss this topic again. This value is very high. So now we can say, if one can ask the question up to what limit a body can hold the charge or up to what limit a body can be charged, we should say that till intensity developed by the body is not crossing dielectric strength value of the surrounding. Up to that limit a body can be charged. Beyond which what happens? More charge is supplied to the body, intensity becomes more than dielectric strength the value, immediately body starts leaking the charge and body becomes chargeless. Now if this term dielectric strength is clear, now see what is capacitor or condenser. Basically capacitor or condenser is a device. Capacitor or condenser is a device used to store charge or electrical energy. Capacitor or condenser is a device which is used to store charge or electrical energy. We are going to discuss a very simple circuit with the help of which you will be able to understand the working of the capacitor. Suppose we have a small bulb. Here we have connected a capacitor or condenser. Here we have connected a cell and a key. As we press the key, circuit gets closed, current starts flowing in the bulb. Let one more key is kept here. Maybe this key is open or closed, doesn't matter. Let in the beginning this key is open. This key is closed, current starts flowing the circuit, bulb starts glowing. Now keeping the key closed, close this key also, current starts flowing in the circuit, bulb remains in glowing position and our capacitor stores charge so that it stores electrical energy. Now open this key. What we observe, when key is open, still our bulb is in glowing position. Why? Because now the energy for glowing process of the bulb is not supplied by the cell, it is supplied by the capacitor, because capacitor is a device which is used to store electrical energy. If we remove the capacitor from here, we take a simple circuit having key or cell and bulb, then till key is closed, bulb will glow, the key will be open, bulb will not glow. But in the meantime, if you connect a capacitor here and key gets open, then also bulb will glow. Though cell is disconnected from the bulb, but still our bulb is glowing. It means somewhere some source is supplying energy to the bulb, and that source is our capacitor or condenser. This is the only role of capacitor or condenser in the circuit. It supplies energy to the circuit in odd hours. If we supply the energy, it becomes discharged. Total energy of the capacitor will become 0. So once again I am saying, what is capacitor or condenser? A device which is used to store charge or energy. When we design the capacitor, it is important to know how capacitor is designed. For it, we should know what is capacitor action. Then only we can think how capacitors are designed. Now next is capacitor action. Suppose a conducting plate is taken, fixed on the insulating base. It is chargeless. By some method we have charged, and that amount of charge we have supplied to the plate, that the intensity developed by this plate is nearly equal to the dielectric strength of the medium, means charge associated with the conductor is maximum. This conductor cannot demand more charge. Charge is maximum, so potential developed by this conductor is also maximum. No extra charge this conductor can demand, because if we will give the charge, this conductor will produce more intensity. Intensity will be more than dielectric strength value, so medium will start behaving as a conductor. So charge associated conductor will leak in different direction and body will become chargeless. So maximum charge is this conductor is having. Now keep another conductor very close to it, which is uncharged. This is uncharged, kept parallel to it and very close to it. What will happen? The moment uncharged conductor will be kept close to it, this phase will produce negative charge on in the inner phase due to induction, and positive charge across the outer phase. The amount of negative charge across inner phase and amount of positive charge across the outer phase will be equal, because totally this conductor is neutral, so it will remain neutral. Now this negative charge will produce negative potential here. This positive charge will produce positive potential here. Since negative charge is close to it, so negative potential value will be more as compared to positive potential. So what is the resultant potential of this plate? Already it was having some potential. It is producing more negative potential. It is producing less positive potential. So resultant potential will be less. So when resultant potential will be less, resultant intensity produced by it will also be less. So extra charge we are providing to the conductor till intensity is not going to become equal to threshold frequency again. Now after this, the right face of second conductor is connected with earth. This phenomenon is called earthing. What happens? The potential of earth is 0 and potential of this is positive. It means this point is having high potential, this point is having low potential. Electrons starts moving from low potential to high potential, and so much electrons move from low potential to high potential that this plate total potential becomes 0, because then only flow of electron will stop. This is at 0 volt, this will be at 0 volt, electron flow will stop. So as we do earthing of the outer phase, electrons move from earth up to this plate phase, and after some time this total positive charge disappears because of the flow of electron. Now only negative charge remains here. This negative charge will produce more negative voltage here. Now positive voltage is not present here, so resultant voltage will decrease. So more charge we can provide to increase the voltage till intensity is not going to become threshold phase value or digestion value. This is how capacitor works, or this is how we design the capacitor. So every capacitor or every condenser consists of two parallel plates of any shape having outer face of second plate remains connected with earth. Again, a capacitor or condenser consists of two parallel plates of any shape having outer face of second plate remains connected with earth. This is the designing of the capacitor. Now depending upon shape of these plates, there exist three types of capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor, number 1. Spherical capacitor, number 2. And number 3, cylindrical capacitor. And depending upon the insulating medium present between the plates, types of capacitor are electrolytic type capacitor, paper capacitor, in which paper is present, mica capacitor, in which mica remains present, ceramic capacitor. So these are the different types of capacitor depending upon the insulating medium present between the plates: electrolytic capacitor, mica capacitor, paper capacitor, and ceramic capacitor. And these are the three types of capacitor depending upon types of plate we have taken. Now where we use these capacitors? These capacitors are used in fans, motors, electronic circuits. All electronic circuits, this capacitor is used. Television, computers, as well as different electrical devices. These are the fields where we use these capacitors. Now one point very important which we have to share here, and the cause of it we discuss in the 3rd or 4th chapter. Capacitor, this is the important point. Capacitor provides infinite amount of hindrance to direct signal, hence never used with DC. They are used only in those circuits which works on AC. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है आप लोगों के लिए, इसको हमेशा रखिएगा। कैपेसिटर्स डायरेक्ट सिग्नल को इनफाइनाइट अमाउंट का हिंड्रेंस प्रोवाइड करता है, तो जिस पाथ में कैपेसिटर लगा होता है उस पाथ में डायरेक्ट करंट फ्लो नहीं कर सकती, इसलिए कभी भी कैपेसिटर को डीसी सर्किट में नहीं यूज करते हैं। कैपेसिटर्स हमेशा उन सर्किट में यूज किया जाता है जो एसी में रन करते हैं, बिकॉज दे प्रोवाइड्स स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ हिंड्रेंस टू द एसी सर्किट। Just now it is not possible to share with you why it happens. This we'll discuss in the future units. तो कैपेसिटर्स हमेशा एसी सर्किट में यूज होगा, ना कि डीसी सर्किट में। तो डियर स्टूडेंट, दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द टॉपिक नेम्ड कैपेसिटर और कंडेंसर। My next video lecture will be based on type of capacitor and condenser that we discuss in next video lecture. Please do share, subscribe my YouTube channel so that you can get updates every day, and also please comment after seeing the video how you are feeling, what is your reaction. Your comment works as a booster for me. If there is some mistake, if there is some doubt, I will try to clear in the next video lecture. Thank you.